ever made one small change to your routine? Just one, and noticed weeks later that something felt different. Not dramatic, not overnight, just quietly, steadily better. Most people think that changing their health or their lifestyle requires a big decision, a new diet, a gym membership, a complete overhaul of how they live. And because the change feels so large, they wait. They wait for the right moment, the right motivation, the right version of themselves that is finally ready. But that is not how it works. Today, you will follow Sarah through a Tuesday that proves a different idea. Small changes, done consistently, are the ones that actually last. Before we begin, I want to say something about you, specifically about today. Day 1 of this series was easy in one way. Everything was new. The novelty carried you forward. You were curious. You wanted to see what this was. Day 27 is different. The novelty is gone. The excitement of starting something has faded. What you have instead is something quieter and more valuable, a habit. You opened this episode today not because it was new, but because you decided to. You showed up. Again. That is consistency, and that is exactly what today's episode is about. You have already been living the lesson before it begins. This is the promise of this series, 30 days of listening, one story at a time, from A1 to B1. You are 3 days from the end. Let's not stop now. It is Tuesday, 6:28 in the morning. Sarah's alarm does not go off. She set it for 6:30, but she wakes up 2 minutes before it sounds, the way the body does when it is starting to expect something. She lies still for a moment, looks at the ceiling. Then she gets up. She puts on her running shoes at the door, the same ones she wore on Sunday mornings before everything got busy in March. They still fit the same way. She picks up her keys and goes outside. Prospect Park is 20 minutes on foot. She walks there, then runs for 30 minutes on the tree-lined path near the east entrance. The park at this hour is different from any other time of day. Quieter, greener, the light still soft and low through the leaves. A few other runners pass her. A man walks his dog along the edge of the grass. 2 cyclists move silently along the road. She does not listen to music. She just runs and breathes and pays attention to where she is. This is her routine now, or the beginning of one. 2 mornings this week. She is not calling it a goal. She is not tracking it in an app. She is just doing it, on the mornings when she wakes up and decides to. Routine. A routine is a set of actions or habits that you do regularly, usually in the same order or at the same time. A routine gives shape to your day. It creates structure without requiring a decision each time. Her morning routine starts with coffee and ends with opening her laptop. A consistent bedtime routine can improve the quality of your sleep. She was trying to build a new routine around exercise. She finishes her run at 7:05. She walks the last 5 minutes home slowly, letting her breathing settle. The streets of Brooklyn are waking up around her, a bodega opening its shutters, the smell of coffee from the corner cafe, a school bus idling at the end of the block. She takes it all in. Back home, she makes breakfast, scrambled eggs with the last of the red bell pepper from the fridge, a slice of toast, a cup of coffee. She eats at the kitchen table with the window open. It is a Tuesday morning and she has nowhere to be until 5:30 in the evening. She feels quietly good. After breakfast, Sarah opens her sketchbook. Not to draw, she has been using it more for writing lately. Lists, thoughts, things she is trying to figure out. She finds the page from yesterday, where she wrote down the changes she has made this week. She reads it back. Back up files every evening. Set aside $30 a month for tech. Cook instead of ordering. Running Tuesday morning. She adds one more line. No phone after 10:30 p.m. Then she looks at the list again. 5 things, none of them difficult, none of them requiring a gym membership or a meal plan or a major life decision. And yet, looking at them together, she can see something taking shape. She thinks about the times she has tried to change too much at once. 2 years ago, she decided to take up running, do yoga 3 times a week, and cut out sugar all in the same month. She lasted 12 days. By day 13, she was so tired and frustrated that she stopped everything. Take up. To take up something means to start a new activity or hobby, to begin doing something regularly that you did not do before. She took up photography as a way to slow down. He decided to take up cooking after moving into his own apartment. It's never too late to take up a new skill. Cut out. To cut something out means to remove it from your life completely, to stop doing or consuming it entirely. She cut out caffeine after 6 in the evening and started sleeping better. He cut out social media for a month to see how it felt. The problem, she understands now, was not willpower. It was volume. She had tried to build a habit of running while simultaneously overhauling her entire diet and adding yoga on top. There was no room to breathe, and when one thing slipped, everything slipped together. Build a habit. To build a habit means to make something a regular part of your life through repetition, by doing it often enough that it becomes automatic, almost easy. Building a habit takes time. It cannot be forced. She built a habit of writing every morning by starting with just 5 minutes. The key to building a habit is to make it small enough to do on a bad day. She closes the sketchbook. She has a few hours of work ahead, then an errand, then the community center at 5:30. The community center is 2 blocks from Sarah's apartment building, a low brick building with a green door and a small hand-lettered sign in the window, English Conversation Practice, Tuesdays, 5:30, 6:30. All welcome. Sarah has been volunteering here for almost 3 years. She does not teach grammar or assign homework. She just sits at the table with whoever shows up and talks about the week, about language, about whatever comes up. Sometimes 7 people come, sometimes 3. Tonight there are 6. She knows most of them by now. Rosa, who works at a dry cleaner's on 5th Avenue and is saving to bring her daughter from Oaxaca. The Chen brothers, Wei and Liang, who arrived 8 months ago and are still surprised by how cold Brooklyn winters are. Mr. Beaumont, who has lived in the neighborhood for 22 years, but wants, as he says, to speak with more confidence. And 2 newer faces, a woman named Fatima and a young man whose name Sarah has not caught yet, who sits quietly and listens more than he speaks. Sarah pulls up a chair, sets her bag down, and asks the question she always asks to open. What happened this week? Anything good? Anything hard? Anything you are thinking about? Liang says his restaurant changed his schedule again. Rosa says she found a cafe near her building that sells Mexican pastries, and it made her feel, for a moment, less far from home. Mr. Beaumont says his knee has been bothering him, but he has been walking every evening anyway, because he read somewhere that movement helps more than rest. That's actually what I want to talk about tonight, Sarah says. Small changes. Things that seem too small to matter, but they do. She tells them about her week. The running, the cooking, the budget, the early bedtime. She does not make it sound like a success story. She makes it sound like what it is. A few deliberate choices made by someone who got tired of burning out. Burnout. To burn out means to become exhausted, physically, mentally, or emotionally, from doing too much for too long without enough rest or recovery. When you burn out, you cannot continue at the same pace. She burned out after working 7 days a week for 2 months straight. He took a week off because he could feel himself starting to burn out. Burnout is a sign that something in your routine needs to change. She asks them, has anyone made a small change recently? To their health, their sleep, their routine? Rosa says she started walking to work 3 days a week instead of taking the subway. It takes 20 extra minutes. She does not love the cold, but she has been sleeping better. Mr. Beaumont says he cut out the television at night. He watches the news at 7, then turns it off. Before, I was watching until midnight, he says. Now I go to bed at 10. I am a different person in the morning. Fatima says she started making time for a proper lunch break, sitting down, away from her desk, even just for 20 minutes. Before, I eat at the computer, she says. Now I sit at the table. It is a small thing, but I feel better. Make time for. To make time for something means to deliberately set aside time for it, to treat it as a priority, rather than letting it get pushed aside by other things. She made time for a walk every evening, even on busy days. It's easy to say you're too busy. Making time for rest is a decision. Sarah listens to all of them. Then she says, I think the reason small changes work is because you can actually do them. You can go for a 10-minute walk even on a bad day. You can't always go to the gym for an hour. The young man who has been quiet for most of the session looks up. Consistency, he says carefully, trying the word. Is that the word? Yes, Sarah says. That is exactly the word. Consistency. Consistency means doing something regularly, without stopping, showing up for it again and again over time. A small action done with consistency is more powerful than a large action done once. Consistency is more important than intensity when building new habits. She did not see results immediately, but her consistency paid off over time. The hour passes quickly. By 6:30, people are gathering their bags and coats. Rosa thanks Sarah at the door. Mr. Beaumont says he will report back next week on the knee. The young man pauses on his way out and says carefully, Thank you. I learned something tonight. Sarah walks home. The walk back is 10 minutes. The June evening is still bright at 6:45. The sky a pale blue over the rooftops. Sarah walks slowly. No headphones, hands in her jacket pockets. She thinks about what Mr. Beaumont said. I am a different person in the morning. One small change, no television after 7, and he became a different person in the morning. Not instantly, not dramatically, over time, quietly, in the long run. In the long run. This phrase means over a long period of time, when you look at the full picture, not just today or this week. In the long run, small, consistent actions produce results that single large efforts rarely do. It might be harder now, but in the long run, it will be worth it. Small savings add up in the long run. In the long run, consistency matters more than speed. She thinks about the young man saying consistency, the way he reached for the word, tried it, got it right. She thinks about Fatima sitting down for lunch, Rosa walking to work in the cold. All of them are making a lifestyle change, not a challenge, not a temporary effort, a new way of doing something, chosen deliberately, held on to patiently, a lifestyle change. A lifestyle change is a permanent adjustment to how you live, a shift in habits or behaviors that you intend to keep, not just for a week or a month, but as part of who you are going forward. Quitting smoking is a lifestyle change. She didn't go on a diet. She made a lifestyle change. A lifestyle change takes time to feel normal, but eventually it does. Sarah gets home at 6:55. She heats up leftover rice from the night before, adds a fried egg, eats at the kitchen table. She does not open Instagram. She does not check her email after 8. At 11:10, she gets into bed with a book. She reads for 20 minutes. The words slow down as she gets closer to sleep, and then she's reading the same sentence twice without understanding it, and she knows that is the signal. She puts the book on the nightstand. She turns off the lamp. In the dark, she thinks, this is what it pays off to. Not a dramatic transformation, not a before and after. Just Tuesday night, the lamp off at 11:30, a book on the nightstand, running shoes by the door for tomorrow. Pay off. When something pays off, it produces a good result after a period of effort or patience. The payoff is the reward that comes from doing something consistently over time. All those early mornings finally paid off when she ran her first race. The habit of saving money paid off when the unexpected expense arrived. Consistency pays off, not immediately, but eventually, without fail. She closes her eyes. Today, Sarah ran in the park at sunrise, made breakfast at home, wrote a list of small changes in her sketchbook, and spent an evening at the community center talking about exactly those changes with people who are making their own. Nobody overhauled their life. Everyone just kept going, a little more deliberately than before. Let's review today's vocabulary. Routine, a set of actions you do regularly in the same way. Take up, to start a new activity or hobby. Cut out, to completely remove something from your life. Build a habit, to make something regular through consistent repetition. Burn out, to become exhausted from doing too much for too long. Make time for, to deliberately set aside time for something important. Consistency, doing something regularly without stopping over time. In the long run, over a long period of time, when the full picture becomes clear. A lifestyle change, a permanent shift in how you live. Payoff, when effort produces a good result, often after a long wait. These 10 phrases are for talking about health, habits, and how people grow, slowly, quietly, without announcements. Tomorrow is day 28. Sarah has been spending a lot of time alone this week, running, cooking, thinking. Tomorrow, she thinks about the people who have shown up for her, the friends and relationships that have made her life in Brooklyn what it is, including one who changed everything. 3 days left. I will see you tomorrow.